comes from the eminence in Shadow. Cid Kagano's I Am Atomic isn't just one of the strongest attacks in anime, it's an ability that literally scales from city level to universal and somehow gets more ridiculous every time he uses it. Hell, even how he created this power is completely absurd. Because Shadow always wanted to be able to conquer a nuclear bomb, to withstand its almighty power, but it was impossible, unless he became nuclear himself. This took years of training, thinking, and perfect mana control to achieve. But how strong is this attack in its base form, or to be more accurate, the first time we see it? Well, we first see this attack when Shadow first appears to fight Zenon Griffey. Now, although this guy seemed like a complete bum, he was actually no joke, being a member of the Cult of Diablos, but also a master swordsman at the academy. He wasn't just some random goon, he was a serious threat the cult acknowledged to be a potential round, basically meaning one of the top 12 strongest in the organisation. Shadow humiliated the guy in every way possible. First, he outclassed him in his main skill, being swordsmanship, while severely holding back, then using raw power to beat him when the guy ate multiple pills of Diablos beads, which exponentially increased his mana, but it didn't matter in the slightest. But when he called himself Almighty, that was the last straw for Shadow. He activated his absurd magic power that's so insanely strong that Zenon was in disbelief that a single person had so much magical ability, and we see this repeated throughout the story. His mana is so absurd that even before he uses the atomic attack, he's invulnerable. Zenon's sword shatters upon contact with him, as for the first time, Cid unleashes his ultimate attack, disintegrating him entirely and causes everyone in the capital to see this goddamn nuke go off in front of them. He doesn't just defeat him, he erases him. No body, no remains, he's just gone. Shadow is basically using Hakai when he uses his atomic attack, so it makes sense that he doesn't just use it immediately, because no fight would ever be fun for him. Now, of course, this is ridiculous, but the funny thing is that the anime did overplay this in comparison to the manga. It wasn't nearly as enormous, since Shadow didn't need to go remotely serious here, which we see in the manga, but don't get it twisted. Shadow's atomic attacks have only just started, because when we fast forward to the goddess's trial, we start to see that Shadow is so strong that it's actually not even fair. He's one of the most overpowered characters in all of fiction, because this trial is essentially a 1v1 combat arena, where it summons an equal ancient opponent's spirit to fight against you. So what happens when Shadow enters? Well, he makes a grand entrance, of course, and forces the magic circle to summon his opponent, which turns out to be Aurora, the Witch of Calamity. Now, this fight is insane, but let's fast forward a little bit. After Shadow obviously wins the battle, the Sanctuary answers his call. Now, this place is basically a pocket dimension, and the only way to escape it is to destroy the magical core at the centre, but the issue is that magic can't even be used here. All of this does matter, so keep with me here. Eventually, Shadow makes it to the core with Aurora, but it can't be that easy. The core can only be destroyed by this sword, and the only ones who can wield it are descendants of the hero Olivia. Cid isn't a descendant, and when Olivia shows up, bro looks finished for the first time in the series, but this is Shadow we're talking about here. He figures out a way to activate his magic again, and you're probably wondering how. Well, with some bullshit, intelligence. He uses slime and tempers his magic until it's too solid to absorb. Yeah, this is some Baki level nonsense. He just broke the entire rules of this place with ease, and he ain't done yet, because when countless clones of the hero attack him, he finally showcases his true power with the all-range atomic, which breaks everything in sight. No descendant needed, because his power is so broken that nothing can challenge it, not even dimensions. He broke space itself here to escape. And hell, it shows that the rules of the world don't matter to Shadow, because he should have had to use the sword, but whatever. His atomic attack is so powerful that Aurora, someone capable of destroying the world in her prime, and the most powerful witch ever, was in disbelief into how anyone could be allowed this much power. Hell, even Olivier was a monster who fought the devil himself, Diablos, and was still nothing to Shadow. And this was a version of Shadow that was being nerfed by his mana being limited. Yeah, he broke through, but this definitely wasn't him at full strength at all, because he was exhausted afterwards, and the only time we see Shadow remotely serious in Season 1 was when he was bluffing. He fights against Beatrix and Iris at the same time, Beatrix being known as a literal war goddess, and Iris is a complete prodigy. Just one of these two could defeat 99% of people, but to Shadow, Shadow, he just played with them until the final moment where he stops playing around, covering pretty much the entire continent in his magic, shocking them both and crushing their will to fight entirely. Keep in mind that these two probably have some of the strongest willpower in the series, but he was obviously never going to set off this attack. He may be crazy, but he isn't some psychopathic murderer. At least not in the way you'd think. Because let's be honest, he would have legit wiped this place off the map if he unleashed it. We already saw him disintegrate mountains with his all-range atomic in the manga, so what does he do? He somehow fires his atomic attack into the atmosphere and changes the weather itself, clearing the clouds from grey and raining to bright blue skies with the sun shining. It's completely ridiculous. The thing is that we all kind of expected this attack to just be, well, just that. An attack that has outrageous power, but that's about it. I mean, we see that a lot in anime, it's nothing new. Yet, it's a lot more versatile than it seems in Season 1. And we see this for the first time against Elizabeth, who is another insanely powerful being within this verse. She's the Blood Queen and a vampire progenitor. She destroyed a country in just 3 days before, and is the most powerful vampire to ever live. Hell, apparently she actually landed a hit on Shadow. I think this was in the light novel. Albeit this was because he was trying to protect all the coins and money, but still, this is more than anyone has ever achieved before. So yes, a vampire with some of the strongest regenerative abilities, a country level threat, and could defeat any of Shadow's subordinates was still nothing to him, as he easily defeated her when he got serious. But she was merely a puppet being used by her subordinate Crimson, so an all-out atomic killing her wasn't the right move here. All the inhabitants of the lawless city where this battle took place were turned into ghouls and lost all control because of the vampire's ability to affect blood. So what does Shadow do? Well, he somehow reverses the effect of his atomic, using Recovery Atomic to heal them all completely, whilst also freeing Elizabeth from her madness. It seemingly still damages structures, but affects people in particular differently, healing them from any ailment. To be fair, it's explained that Shadow can just control the mana within others' bodies with ease. Hell, he learned this as a child with Alpha. His mana control is just next level, and is why this attack is even possible. Or, I guess I'm not sure if you consider it an attack or not, but anyway. Just think about how much control it takes to fix the mana of pretty much an entire city's worth of people. Like, it's actually insane. And leads into how it's even possible that Cid can use atomic attacks. His mana level isn't actually as high as you'd think. Like, there are people who have more than him. But he's such a genius with the mana he does have that he doesn't need more. Like, he's by far the greatest master of magic in all of this universe. So obviously this had everyone wondering how strong Shadow actually is when he goes all out, and the anime did show us. When he faces this bum, like, Mordred is so uninteresting, I'm not gonna lie. He gets beaten by Beta easily, but he does manage to summon Ragnarok, which is obviously known for destroying all of Asgard in Norse mythology. So it's clearly no joke, and in the series it's no different. This demon is a monster when it came to mana, and no one but Cid could stand before it. So it was basically a god before Shadow did what he usually does and destroyed it with ease in front of Mordred, but in a state of confusion he ate Ragnarok and became a lot more powerful. But Shadow punched him outside of the Earth's atmosphere. And why did he do this? Because he was sick of holding back. He was just bored. So he cast a protective barrier across the entire planet before unleashing his universal level atomic. Don't think I'm overstating it, but this shit looked like the sun to those on Earth, with them mistaking it for dawn, and would have disintegrated Earth if Cid didn't protect it. So yeah, this guy is beyond planetary, and this was such overkill. I mean, in the manga, he just does a normal ass atomic and deletes it from existence. So the anime was basically just telling the audience, yeah, this is how much the guy is always holding back. Following this whole fight, Cid is transported back to his old world. This is a whole separate video, to be honest, but I'm gonna fast forward to when he uses another version of his atomic called I Am Atomic Sword. Goofy ass name, I know, but despite me taking the piss, it's obviously a crazy attack again, as he wipes out an entire stampede of magical beasts that no one else could do anything against, and those around him see him as a savior that God himself sent to save them. Yeah, you wish, bro. He cares more about money than he does about people. But this attack sent shockwaves across the city, meaning that we can surmise that this atomic is a lot more targeted and doesn't just annihilate everything in sight, but specific targets that Shadow chooses, which makes it a lot more versatile and a lot more usable. The funny thing is that even before Shadow mastered his atomic capabilities, it was still so powerful that it annihilated everything in sight, as we saw in chapter 61 with his I am atomic. Sorta. This straight up looked like a dimension slash before it was deemed good enough for Shadow. And honestly, it keeps on getting more dumb in the manga, because it seems like Bro can basically do whatever he wants with these powers. As we saw recently with his I am atomic Utsusemi, this is a secret skill of Shadow's where, stay with me now, he transforms his sword into 9 dragon-like slashes, which consumes parts of his enemy one by one until they're devoured completely. And this one moment just shows how crazy of an ability his atomic truly is. Because it's not just a special attack, it's more of a power boost he can apply to any one of his attacks. Because this Utsusemi was an attack he literally just stole like 2 seconds ago and added to his arsenal. So if he can turn this into an atomic attack, then anything is on the cards. He has no limit. At this point, Shadow's atomic isn't even an attack anymore, it's basically a concept. Whatever he imagines becomes reality. And that's exactly why he might be one of the most broken characters in anime due to this, because the world itself molds around him at the core. But anyway, if you want to see more videos from me, then make sure to check out this video on screen and subscribe, because I'm doing a lot more isekai content and more Eminence in Shadow if this video performs well.